Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rock for Him podcast. My name is Jeremy, aka the Big Boy, and I'm riding solo this week. But it's all good because our guests are returning, and they're some of my favorites. Please welcome back uh, FaithHead. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
How's it going?
Thanks
Well,
for thanks for having us on.
That's
absolutely.
Scott messaging me on Facebook.
What's that?
That Scott Mullins is messaging me on Facebook. So,
What's he saying? He's not able to do
oh,
it
he was
tonight.
telling me he couldn't make it tonight. So it's all good.
Yeah, no. So since the last time you guys have been on, some members have changed. What happened? You got a new vocalist.
Well,
He's not.
I'm
He's
not
not.
new.
He's not
I'm I'm
new.
the I'm the
Recycled.
second I'm the second and the fourth vocalist of FaithHead.
Wow.
We
So how did
recycled
that
him.
all how'd that all come about, Jimmy?
Uh, so uh, Adam, was kind of the same boat I was in 2019. Career and family, it just kind of got too much. I won't speak too much for Adam, but he gave me a little bit of insight. Similar to what I did back in 2019, he kind of tapped me and said, "Hey, would you consider coming back?" And that's what I did to him back in 2019. I said, "Hey, man, I'm kind of swamped. Would you consider coming in and taking over?" So he kind of reciprocated, what I did to him 5 years ago. So I'm back. I'm back. I
Welcome
missed it.
back. Welcome back. So you guys have released one song so far. How has that turned out? Have you guys I
I thought it
know
turned out pretty good. Yeah.
I I know
Aberrations.
I know we at Rock for Him absolutely love the song. We're excited to see what you guys have coming out next.
Yeah, it did. Aberrations did pretty well. It was the first song we had released since 22, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first songs we released since 22 because we were on.
Splinter was the last song we
Yeah,
released.
Splinter in the Eye was the last one that we
Yep.
did. And we kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus and started this process all over again. And it's been good. The I think with the new single Artificial God was kind of show the Aberrations was kind of the light side of the album, and now we're kind of going to the dark side of the album with the new single. Wouldn't you say, Dale?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's definitely got a darker feel, a more melancholy kind of. We're definitely touching on a lot of really dark subjects. So, um, yeah, I would say it is gonna. There's a lot of dark songs on there. We've actually got several of them already done, and we're just kind of finishing up the last touches on those, and then we've got a few more songs to do tracking on, and then we'll be done pretty soon with the whole album, I think.
Nice. So, Jimmy, one of the things we like to do on the podcast is we like to get your testimony. Like, how did you become a Christian?
So I am. I grew up in the church. I grew up Methodist, and then later on in life, I became Baptist. And I thank God that I had that foundation from an early age. I'm talking about. I have not really missed much of my life not going to a church. So growing up, I went to Awanas. I did all the stuff any preteen would do, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, 1998. Falcons were playing whoever they lost to that year. I can't remember. I'm a Falcons fan, sadly. Uh, yeah, that's how I remember what it was. But that Super Bowl Sunday, I got baptized. My father kind of planted the seed in me, and I can remember that weekend, that Friday, that Saturday, I spent pretty much the entire weekend in my room, just reading and talking to God, and finally I just took the plunge. I've seen other friends do it. It wasn't recite this passage or recite this special prayer and you're a changed person. No, it was kind of a 2-day thing for me. And I'll say, and I've heard other people talk about this, but I mean, I had a physical feeling come over me. Um, and I point back to that. That was the Holy Spirit just coming into me and just stirring me at that very point in time. And I get goosebumps. Sometimes I get teary eyed just thinking about it because at 12 years old, it's pretty surreal to remember that feeling. And I'm 35, 36 now, so I mean it's been a while. But I remember like it was yesterday. And as time went on, I'm like just like that. Uh, there's a Matthew West song about after watching Billy Graham on TV, you're on fire for Christ, during your teenage years, and you go off to college and it just kind of dies, right? That happened to me. Only thing was, I married at a very young age. I was in college when I got married, and it wasn't until I was, I don't know, 23. I had just moved to Tennessee. I don't even know if I had met Patrick yet, but Patrick and I we used to go to the same church, and he was my Sunday school teacher. But I felt very convicted that I was not leading the life that I needed to lead, being that my wife I was responsible for. I didn't have any kids at the time, and I felt like I felt backslidden. I felt like that prodigal child. I had, I always knew Christ was the way, the truth, the life, and at times in my life I would definitely lean on that, but I wasn't living that life. I was hanging out at the bar, every weekend, focused on things I shouldn't have been focused on. My wife too, and so I manned up, as any man of God should do. I manned up and I took a hold of my household, and first things first, I got back in church. I found a Bible believing church. Took me a little while. I think I went to 6 or 7 different churches around Chattanooga, Tennessee, until I found the one that God wanted me to be in. And we flourished after that. My wife got baptized at that church. My kids were born and had a great group of believers come around my children, and they're still fairly young, but they got a lot of growing to do. But the seed's been planted there, and I saw the fruits of even my oldest child. He called our pastor over the summer and had some questions for him. I mean, he's very intelligent for 8-year-old and is very sensitive to what it means to be a believer in Christ, and he's almost there. I feel like he's on the cusp. So yeah, so musically, I've come from a musical family. I've always kind of been in choir. I've learned how to read music, being in a choir, and play piano for many years, and had the opportunity. Actually, Patrick was the reason I got into music later on in life.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, it was your fault.
It's all your fault.
So we had it's a blue collar Southern Baptist church that we went to. They had a worship team, but they hid the worship team off to the corner of the stage. And I'm sure you remember this, Patrick, but they had these very old fake bushes or trees, or were they plants? I don't know where they were, but they hid they hid the whole entire worship team behind it, and it was like a little sliver of the stage. And Dale, you've been to that church, you know what I'm talking about. It's in the very, very far corner. But they had the choir in the middle. So that what they would do is that, the first part of the service every Sunday, and they did this for a couple of years, they would let that worship team sing a couple of songs, like right at the beginning, and then they would go either disperse into the congregation, or a couple of them would go up into the choir, and the choir would do the rest of it, and it'd be hymns, redback hymnal, maybe sometimes would get broken out, if you know what the redback hymnal is, and typically it's canned music, but it's all hymns, it's all historical music that you knew and grew up to if you went to church, and that gentleman left, so the congregation wanted a more blended service, and Patrick had the idea, and I guess he had the ear of a few people, but he pointed at me and said, "Hey, he needs to be the worship leader," and he drafted me, and that's kind of how I got my start, being
Well,
being on the stage, I guess.
I want to adjust that story just a little bit, because what he said is true, but I led one of the first services after the guy left. And I'm like, I can't play and sing at the same time. And then I pointed at Jimmy and said, he needs to be the one leading it.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because I was trying to conduct choir and play bass and sing, and it just wasn't working. So
I mean,
so I'm not trying to hijack, but just the last bit of the story.
Oh, you're good.
So we went to church with Adam as well. Adam went to church with us, and Adam was playing guitar in the worship band, and Patrick playing bass. And I think what's cool about FaithHead, if you know about FaithHead, the entire lineup, at least with the vocalist for sure, we're all friends still, and we all contribute, whether it be supporting and hey, that song sounds great that you're working on, or whatever, whatever it is, we all still support ourselves, or support each other, Jason especially. But Jason had just left 2017, I don't remember, and Patrick said, "Hey, yeah." Patrick comes to me and says, "Hey, you've always been a fan of FaithHead. What about coming and playing a show that we had booked that I don't want to cancel?" And it was at the biggest hole in the wall bar in Chattanooga, Tennessee, called Ziggy's. And if you're from Chattanooga, or if you're in music in Chattanooga, that's everybody's first place they've ever played. I mean, it's that type of place. And I agreed to it. I went and did it. And if you go look on YouTube, I think you can still find it. I'm up there with the iPad in front of my face, which it's a running joke. I still need that iPad for the lyrics. And so it just kind of, I stuck around, I guess, after that. I've always been a part of FaithHead. I was at the very first show, so I've always been around.
Cool. So I gotta say, it's been a little over 2 years now since I've seen you guys live. We need you guys back out touring, man.
We're working on it.
Come back to Michigan.
We will.
Or we're trying to find bands to come play, and you guys are more than welcome if we can find a venue.
Well, we're definitely going to come back. The problem is we've been playing the same 10 songs for the last 5 years with only a few new songs sprinkled in. So I'm pretty sick and tired of playing a lot of this old music. I want to play some new stuff.
Yeah, with COVID and personnel changes that we've had over the last 3 or 4 years, it's just been hard to get things moving forward. It seems like we take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back, and now we finally, we've got a whole entire album written, and I'd say 60% finished.
So more or less,
yeah.
I'd probably say 70, but there's
waiting on me.
There's finishing. There's still drums to be tracked and some of the songs, and some of the songs we've had for a while. We're kind of on the fence with some of these songs, and so we kind of go back and forth as to which ones are going to be the best deliver the message that we're trying to deliver and be the best possible music we could play. So
I mean, there's a lot of songs that are in the pile.
Right.
And we're just kind of looking at them, does this go here? So we're
there's a lot of music. That's
like,
a good thing. That's a good problem to have, though, because we didn't have anything new for so long, really, just kind of here and there. And a lot of that was due to personnel changes and whatnot there for a few years. But now we've got more than enough music. Now it's back on us to get it done so we can get it out to you guys.
Yeah, we're very very analytical, and sometimes we get paralysis by analysis. And but we want it, every song we want it to be right. And then we're kind of out of the sync of our normal writing cycle. Normally we would write a song, take it out, play it 2 or 3 times, and then go record it. But at the end of 2022, it just wasn't in the cards for us to do that, because we at the time we had no guitar.
I had no guitars, yeah.
And then LeBron came along in March.
Yeah, sometime he's always been. LeBron is a friend of mine who I played in a band, a secular band, before I joined FaithHead, and actually we had a band together at the same time. I played filled in for, I don't know,
several shows.
Yeah, I don't know. It was almost probably 6-8 months worth of shows that I played with these guys, and then I played with my band. But anyways, when that band split up, me and LeBron remained friends, and I got him involved in just hanging out with us a little bit, and then he came along as far as he kind of got where he didn't really want to do the live stuff anymore. He was really doing a lot of studio stuff. And it was really kind of perfect for us because, we had a little bit of money put away, but we had to decide, what do we want to spend it on? We want to spend it on the studio, or what do we want to do with it? And so LeBron kind of came along and offered to do it for free. And him being a really talented musician, we gave him freedom to put his own input in, help us start writing some of the different parts and whatnot, and the music. And then he eventually, I think, he kind of got sucked in and ended up joining the band.
Well, the key part of that was I forget when it was, and was it in 2022? LeBron actually got saved.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
That changed a lot of things too. Yeah.
So
changed his heart for sure. Yeah.
So it wasn't just he was the guitar player, the right guitar player at the right time. God was working on that situation as it went. So
absolutely.
Well, praise
and
God.
then a few months later after that, Tyler popped out of the bushes on us. So I don't know how else to put it. I flipped over a rock, and there he was.
We finally, because we were looking for so long. Even when you guys saw us live, in Ohio, we were still down a person. That even then, we've always been a two guitar band, and it was just difficult. And then whenever Brian threw in the towel, it was like, crap, man. We've got to we took another 5 steps back again, but everything worked out. Everything worked out okay. I feel like it worked out, I think, the way it should. I feel like this is I feel like the music from, if you go back and you listen to the music from FaithHead, it kind of doesn't really fit in any specific genre or place. It feels like it's kind of, you got a little of this and a little of that, and there's so many different influences thrown in. Is trying to figure out how do we want to play music? How does our music want to sound? And I think it's finally starting to come together now to where we're all playing the music that we're all truly influenced by, and luckily the majority of the members are all influenced by a lot of the same music and the same bands. So it really makes the music feel more like, hey, this is our genre, this is our niche, or whatever, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I even with this album, I still don't think we're trapped in a box.
Yeah.
And that, I never wanted to write the same song over and over and over again. I think each song can stand on their own. Certainly on this album for sure. But I don't want to be known as, they're that kind of band, or they write that kind of song. Even though I think I think what Dale is, I'll agree with Dale. I think our sound is finally coming back because, with two guitar, we've always, like I said, we've always been a two guitar band. And when you hear us, just with one, and we did it, Jimmy was in the band for a year or two.
Yeah.
It was just hollow. It was hollow even after, Donnie had to exit stage left. But I think we're back to our whole sound again.
Well, I just know that I'm excited I loved Aberrations of Reality, and I can't wait to actually hear, your new single. So, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed this year with the industry is like guys have come out swinging, and you guys are no different. Like the whole concept of what you've been talking about with the new record. I mean, you guys are coming out swinging for the fences. Like, was that something that was intentional, or did something like influence that?
I felt like we've always been swinging. I don't think we've ever shied away from anything, even since Genesis. Old sin, new skin. I mean, that should tell you exactly. If you old taboos, it's just a new trend. I think that was always been that way. I think we're just going to be a little bit more in your face this time. But we always want to point to hope.
Right. I was going to mention that. We try not to get into politics, but we will get into cultural things. And it's some pretty down, dark lyrics that we're talking about, but we always point to hope. That's the one thing when you listen to this album, you may want to listen to it front and back before you give it an opinion, because you're gonna have different emotions. But when you get done with it, you're gonna hear that hope that we have in this album.
Yeah, there were some songs that are very specifically written and designed to make you uncomfortable. I mean, that's
subject matter
for sure. There's, you can talk to people and you can talk to people and you can talk to people till you're blue in the face. But music is really the one thing that bypasses the brain and goes straight into the heart. Right. And I think we can make more of a difference playing a song on stage than we can talking to people from stage. And that's, even the ministry part happens off stage. Right. We have the song and then we talk about it with people off stage.
Right.
And that's the way we've always been. Yep. But this album, I think we might get canceled.
Patrick, he keeps telling me that, but I think people are going to come along and we're going to find a lot of support with this, and I think a lot of people are going to either agree or they're going to do the total opposite. Maybe what Patrick's talking about. They're going to get so upset with us. But I think the people that we're after, we obviously make music for everybody. We're not trying to preach to the choir. I don't really know. I really don't know if we have an audience for this song. I think it's anybody and everybody. Whoever God puts in front of this the speaker that's playing these songs is who it's meant for. But anybody that's culturally sensitive, either side of an issue, I guess you can get one of two different reactions from these, and it's kind of I'm interested to find out how that happens. Who's going to be the loudest? Is it going to be the people that are upset? Is it going to be the people that are supportive? I don't know.
I don't.
Or
think
maybe nobody cares. I mean, maybe
I don't think this is the most divisive song on the album. I think it's probably one of the few least, because we're talking about artificial intelligence.
I think this is a little bit agreeable because if you go look at the polls, most people are pretty down on artificial intelligence as a whole. There's a lot of people that find there's good uses for it, but a lot of people are scared where this is going. Yeah, there's a lot of fear in it. So
yeah, yep. I think this one is not as divisive, but I want to clarify my statement. our music is mostly played on secular stations across the world. There's only so many Christian, hard rock stations, and even some of those guys, I don't know if they're playing us or not because, well, they never tell me. But I mean, we've got 400 plus stations that I submit to, and a good portion of them play our music, that are secular. So it's going to be interesting to see when some of the other songs that are very divisive hit. I suspect somebody's going to say, we've already had one or two that told us that they're not going to play us anymore. So
because of aberrations.
Well, they were before aberrations. That it goes back to old sin, new skin. So, but there, I mean, I'm used to that.
Well, I mean, you always have a home with us, so anything you release, we'll play.
Well, we appreciate that. You got anything you want to throw on there?
So, Jimmy, are you on the new song, or is that still an Adam recording?
This entire album, my voice will be heard on all the songs. Aberration, no, that's Adam's. But everything that has not been released is going to be coming out with this album. I'm a part of.
Cool. Well, we're excited to hear it. So, what's the timeline for the album? Like later this year, early next year? I know.
Everybody's laughing.
I'm trying to
Well,
rush.
it's been 3-4 years we've been writing,
So we've been working on this album since 2019. So yeah.
Patrick said this album was going to be done in April.
Well, we were making good progress, and then we have to get it done before November because Dale he's in a tree stand until mid-January. So we're on a deadline. I'd like to have it out by October 1st. It would be I mean, Jimmy's right now, he's still 300 miles away, but here in a couple of weeks he'll be back in town. So I suspect once Jimmy's in town, it'll pick up again.
Pick up.
Yeah, he's been operating remotely with us for the most part. I mean, we get together when he has time, but he lives out of a hotel room half the time, and he's got an actual real job and to do.
Yeah.
So it's been hard to get him in the studio with us. So he's done a lot of stuff remotely at home, and he'll send us stems or whatever. But every chance he gets, we're making him scream into the microphone at either here or at LeBron's place. So
the last 2 weeks we got a lot done. Being there, I feel like we got a lot done, and I'm excited about what we got done these last couple of weeks. I'm kind of re-energized. I don't know if you guys are. I'm pretty excited.
I don't know about you, but I've been working on this album for 2 years. You've been on it for a couple of months. I'm ready for it to be done.
You ready? I understand that. Yeah, there comes a point in time you're ready for it to be done.
So,
more ways than one.
So, Patrick, I got to ask you. I know you've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff, behind you. What's your most prized possession?
That's tough.
you can't see the kiss on the wall over here.
So, I try not to get too attached to much of it, but I've got an original Boba Fett that goes back to like the 70s, 80s.
Wow.
The 12-inch. It's not in great shape, but I would say it's probably my favorite. So
nice.
I don't know. The sad part is, and you can't see this wall over here, and you can see that wall, and you can't really see this wall, but I've got like more totes of stuff that I don't know how I'm going to get it fitting. I don't know how I'm going to make it fit into this room.
Might have to make another room for it.
This is definitely Sheldon Cooper's office here. Here, Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely some nerd action going on in here, and it's showing our age too.
Hey man, I'm right there with you. Anything Star Wars, I'm right there.
I saw Star Wars at the drive-in when I was 7, 8 years old, I think 6, 7 years old, at the drive-in, and my uncle had we're definitely from the South. He had a Datsun truck. I can't stop twisting back and forth. I know. He had a Datsun truck, and he had his dirt bike strapped in the back of that. And I thought I was the coolest kid at the drive-in. I was sitting on that motorcycle in the back of the truck, watching the big screen when I was a kid.
Nice.
Well, I'm in mourning right now for Star Wars, so
yeah.
If you like what you saw today, hit the subscribe and like button down below, and don't forget to share it to all your friends. Also, leave us a comment down below. If you're gonna rock for him.